wasn't maybe I don't think Chris or I would say it was a really beautifully played game, but it was a hard played game. Both teams competed, and both teams, I think, are very good defensively. So points were hard to come by, especially in the first half. And then they got a little rhythm there in the second half to get some separation. I thought they got us with some back cuts. They were able to get into the paint, 40 points into the paint, which was huge. And obviously Caleb Wesson is a terrific player and really hard to deal with. And was proud of our guys' fight. We're going through a tough time right now. We're really struggling offensively. We're just having a hard time manufacturing enough points to give ourselves a chance to win. But I love that our guys still have good attitudes. They're fighting. They're playing their tails off defensively, and we just got to hope that one of these games we can break through a little bit offensively, see the ball go in, and find a way to win. So for that, I'll open up for questions.
There were a couple of times it was 7-9 points. You guys would cut it back to 4 or 5, and then once they pushed to like 12, you call a timeout, and it just kind of built from there. What changed at that point where you guys weren't able to try to claw your way back from there?
Well, our inability to score. That's when. These teams are really good, and your defense can hang in there for a while, but they're a good offensive team. They run good stuff. They're going to get in rhythms and you got to keep up offensively. And so, I just thought. Even when we had open looks, we missed a 1-on-1. I think one time we had 1 out of 2, maybe a couple times at the line, missed a couple shots at the basket. And like I said, I thought they were able to open up with some cutting. Neither team really shot it well from 3 tonight. But I thought their movement, they were able to back cut us a few times, get some layups. And then Caleb, obviously in the post, when he gets deep position, he's really tough to stop.
You guys are bringing a hard double team sometimes on Caleb in the post. Just what did you think of the effectiveness of that? Sometimes it has worked against him, but he seemed to be passing it exceptionally well.
I just thought in the first half, I thought we had some success early. And then, they were able, I think 2 or 3 times they scored or either got great shots out of it. I thought they were getting a good rhythm against the double. So we ended up taking it off for much of the second half. He's a really good passer. So they space well, and Chris puts those guys in good spots. So I thought, they got a couple really open looks. I think they got a layup there in the second half where we didn't rotate well, and we decided to kind of just go with, more of a one-on-one coverage in the second half. But I think against any big guy, I think you got to kind of change your coverage from time to time. I think they did that with us. At times they went and got pardoned, and other times they played one-on-one. So, I think you got to give different looks to good big men.
You talked about not scoring enough to win, having some struggles offensively. Ohio State offensively coming in had some significant struggles lately. Did you feel that this was a game where you could keep the score low and find a way?
Well, right now for us, that's our only chance. If you look at our numbers, we just haven't been a prolific offensive team. We have to win that kind of a game, like kind of a grinder, but yet 49 is not going to get it done. But at halftime, all things considered, when it was 24-20. I felt like we were still in pretty good shape. I didn't think we played very well offensively, but we were right there. It was a 4-point game. We came out. I think we got a bucket to start the half. And, we just weren't able to sustain it offensively for the last 20 minutes, and they were. They put 39 on the board in the second half. So, obviously that was the difference in the game.
In that first half, and I'm asking this from your coach's perspective, the offensive struggles, was that good defense? Was that guys just missing shots? How did you kind of view it for both teams?
I think probably a little of both. I think both teams are very good defensively. I have a lot of respect for what they do defensively. They're physical. Their concepts are good. They really care on that side of the ball. They play well together as a group, and we knew that. We knew we'd have to run good offense. So, definitely you have to credit them. It's not like, we just missed everything. But when you do get open shots, when you do get a chance to have an open layup or an open dunk or make free throws, when you're playing a good defensive team, you gotta make them. And so definitely I thought both teams were playing really good defense, but I thought also both teams missed some shots. They got some open looks too, early in the game that they normally hit. So, I think it was a combination of both.
Regardless of whether or not you were making the shots or not, were you happy with the selection that your team had tonight?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I thought I thought for much of the first half, I thought their physicality on the perimeter bothered us. I thought they got into the ball a little bit. They kind of pushed us off our spots. We were having a hard time getting inside, establishing pardon. So, I think there were a number of possessions. And then I thought there were times when we got steals or we got long rebounds where we had some success in transition. And we either, were able to score at times, but also missed some open shots or, open things in transition. So I think it was a combination of both. I think, you have to credit their defense. They're a very good defensive team, and they defended us well. But part of that is also us being able to make them pay when we do get those openings. All right, thank you.
For both of you guys, the offense has struggled a little bit as of late, and a lot of outside shots didn't fall today, but you guys had assisted on a lot of your baskets. Is that something that you guys can build on going forward, the way you're able to share the ball and get guys in position for layups and things like that?
Yeah, that's something we always try to do, is find our teammates, get them open shots. It's team ball.
Why was that? Why were you able to be as successful as you were doing that today?
Just how aggressive they were on defense. It was made for back cuts and open opportunities.
Caleb, do you feel like that with the way you were personally passing the ball and the way your teammates were cutting, that you sort of forced them out of that double team that they were showing you in the first half, and then how did it open up things for you guys in the second half?
Yeah, just my teammates hitting shots when I was finding them. That helped a lot as far as them being able to double team me and being able to spread out the floor.
Do you think this is the best you've passed the ball this year? It just seemed like everything you passed seemed to be pretty on the money. I know a couple maybe were bobbled, but it seemed like everything was kind of right there for you.
Yeah, I feel like I passed the ball pretty well today. I had 2 turnovers, but no, it is on you. It's UNC. It's cool, though.
Obviously, the first half was not as crisp offensively. What was said in the locker room? What do you guys think changed to get things going? What were the differences between the first and the second half for you guys offensively?
We knew, we knew defensively that we were doing a pretty good job. There's a couple 50-50 balls we missed in the first half, but, other than that, it was just we weren't making shots in the first half. So, we going into it, we knew it was going to be a grind, 40-minute grind. Coach talked to us about it. So, we were all positive in the locker room. We're going to go out here and we're going to continue to play good defense, and we're going to put some shots in the rim. So,
Dwayne, when you talk about continuing to play good defense, that's an emphasis every night for you guys, but it seemed like, I don't know, you guys were celebrating some charges in the first half, block shots, steals. Was it a different conversation tonight? You guys seemed to draw a lot of energy from the way you played down there.
I think we just knew that we really needed this game. So, we all bought into a good day of prep, and we went really hard yesterday, and I realized that, we can be really good when we lock in and do what we're supposed to do. So we all bought into it, played hard, and we came out with the victory.
Caleb, how are you feeling physically? It just seemed like just last game that Coach Holtmann was talking about you feeling a little fatigued and maybe backing off you on practice, and you go out there and have a game like you had tonight. So how are you feeling physically, and what are you doing in workouts?
This is getting to that time where everybody in the tent is tired. We're banging every night, playing a tournament team every night. So, anybody in the league is going to be fatigued. And then it's just a lot of just conditioning after practice, stuff like that, just trying to work on my air.
Caleb, are you getting more comfortable with the fact that you're getting double teamed every single night? Because it seemed like you were a little more calm and more patient with your decision making tonight.
Yeah, it's something you got to get used to. You got to make adjustments.
When you're playing a team that starts 3 big men, did change your mindset as far as the level of physicality you're going to face?
Yeah, you got long arms, bigger bodies on the floor. It makes it hard for rebounds, positioning, stuff like that.
Dwayne, you guys had 27 bench points tonight. It seemed like you got a lot of contributions from a couple of reserve guys. Just what did you think you guys as a group were bringing tonight?
I think, like I said, the prep day, we shot really well and took it very serious. yesterday. So, coming into it, all of us are very confident, and we had a good night, and happy for the guys, and we got really good looks. We created, attacked, got a lot of open shots that we fortunately knocked down.
You had talked maybe about the midway point of the year, around December sometime, about just being a freshman and sort of trying to figure out what you can do and what you can't do. Just what's your understanding of that now? How do you feel like you've come along in that regard?
I definitely feel like I still got to get better, still got to learn every single day, come to practice to get better. But I definitely do feel like I came a long way and becoming a better player, a better teammate, a better person. So, and we come to practice every day to get better. So that was instilled in my head very early. You got to come, you got to get better every day, or you're going to get your butt handed to you. So.
Caleb, that was obviously a tough game at Michigan State the other day, and like Lori was asking you about, there's questions about your fatigue and things like that. How much did you maybe personally just need a game like this where you could contribute at the level that you did and do all the things that you did as sort of like a bounce back? How much did you need a performance like this today?
Well, it's always good to have a big performance, but, the best thing was we got the win today. My teammates found me when I was open. I got a lot of open looks just because they were hitting shots today. So,
for both of you guys, the shirts that you wore on the bench today, what went into that, and what did that mean to you guys?
That was big for us, just giving us a little education throughout the year. It's big. Black History Month is something that it's just big. We got a lot of injustice in the country, and just having it big spread media like this just helps it out a lot.
Yeah, Scooney introduced us and gave us a guy, and we had to go look him up, and or a girl, and we had to look them up, find out what they did and invention or what they created. So it was really good, to kind of just veer away from school and then just and basketball almost, and just kind of go Google and see what your person was. And then the shirts were really cool. I thought it was a good look. And personally, my guy had the gas mask, and I thought that was pretty cool. So it's good.
I had the fire escape ladder. I had Joseph Winters.
There was a series in the second half when I think Kyle had 2 dunks, a couple rebounds, just, kind of the typical hustle plays that he brings. Obviously, it's been a handful of games now since he's been back, but what kind of boost does he bring to your team when he's on the court?
Like you said, Kyle makes all the tough plays for us. He's a nitty-gritty guy who's just going to go get rebounds, score when he gets open. He's a solid player.
Does it help to have a guy who doesn't need the ball to do things like that, to contribute, that he can kind of find his points, find his statistics without, needing to touch the ball or needing to be the guy?
Yeah, I feel like every successful team, when you buy into your role, it's going to make for a better team. When you try to step outside of your role and everybody wants to be the man, that's when the team just shuts down.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Feel really good about this win. I have a lot of respect for this Northwestern team, and I think their ability to kind of make you grind it on the offensive end. I think we had a little bit of an opening there in the second half, and I think that gave our guys some life. And I think they probably missed shots that they're going to make at their place in a couple weeks. So we're going to have to be certainly even more on point here when we play them in a week and a half or so. But pleased with our guys' approach, really from start to finish. And we'll get back in the gym tomorrow.
When they make you grind the way that you just said they did, but you had, I forget how many assists and how many field goals, but you seem
18 and 8.
Okay. You seem to really distribute the ball maybe a little bit better than you have recently. Is that something that you can hopefully build on? Is that an example of what this offense should look more like?
Yeah, well, listen, I think the whole turnover thing that we've discussed ad nauseum for obvious reasons, it's, some teams defend differently. Some teams really create turnovers with their defense. They don't as much. They do other things to affect you in terms of their positioning, although they really did pressure us tonight more than maybe we anticipated, which is why we tried to back cut them some. But I thought our guys were just a little more conscientious. And listen, I've talked about it. They would tell you that's the number one thing I've talked about really since the first 2 weeks of the season. So as you can tell, it's obviously fallen on deaf ears. But I'm pleased with how they're tonight, what their approach was, and their mindset in that area.
I don't know. Just looking at some numbers of theirs, it didn't seem like they brought that hard double in the post often this year. I don't know how caught off guard you are by that, but
we expected it.
Did you feel like that Caleb's passing and your guys cutting sort of took them out of that? And then was that? It seemed like maybe it was Caleb's best passing game.
Yes, I thought Caleb was really good the whole night on both ends. I really did. I thought Caleb was assertive. We have worked with him again from the beginning of the year about passing out of double teams, because it's a hard thing for a guy to get when you're having another 6'9", 6'10" long guy coming at you. It can be really difficult. So his decision making needs to be a little bit quicker. It was tonight. I thought our guys did a better job cutting tonight. And then it did, I think, take them a little bit out of that. We knew they were going to do that. I'm sure they knew we were going to post trap. There's not many secrets this time of year.
And I asked you this yesterday, and maybe it was just sort of flow of the game, but it did not seem like there was a ton of you guys pushing the ball. It seemed like a lot of what you got was mostly half-court stuff.
I thought we got some post-ups in transition.
I was going to ask if you said you don't want to pull that back. I was just wondering if you did do that at all today.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell our guys on a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2 to back it out. I mean, I will never do that. We got to find a way to finish plays better. And when you have an advantage, we've got to convert better. I understand we don't have the best right now. We're not finishing great at the rim, but I still want us to play with pace, Bill. And but I do think we can utilize maybe some early post-ups better than what we have, and we're actually getting there. We got there tonight with some early post-ups. It was important.
Regarding the assist-to-turnover ratio, it was 12-1 in the second half. What was there any drastic changes made at halftime? What prompted the ball movement in the second half in particular?
We ran a few different things in the second half than the first half, but that really that's the players. They deserve the credit for that. I just thought they made better decisions, with the exception of the one pick six. I thought they made just really good decisions with the ball. I just think they, a couple times when they could have forced it and they didn't force it. We did try to run a few different things that might create a little bit more movement, but I just think our players made really good decisions.
You also started Justin in the second half.
Uh-huh.
What prompted that? And he played very well. What prompted that move?
I had been thinking about potentially even starting him this game, and I just, felt like he was really engaged, honestly, in the bench in the first half. I just felt like he was really engaged, and when you're a coach and you see a guy who hasn't played a whole lot and he's engaged in the game. What he's telling you is, hey, I'm fully invested in what we're doing right now. And when it's February, You want dudes that are fully invested in what you're doing. You want guys that are fully invested in the growth of the team. And that's what you're looking for. And if you're not fully invested, then I'm probably not going to give you a nod there. And he is, and that's why he got the nod, and he responded well.
Chris, when you go through a first half like tonight, what wins out for a coach? The pride in that defensive effort, or concern that you're not scoring the ball as well as you might like on the other end?
We'll give their defense credit. We're by no means an offensive juggernaut, but I think give their defense some credit. I liked the quality of our shot. Again, that's coming back. The quality of our shot. I know. As coaches and probably media members as well, right? We like to kind of pull out the negative things. Coaches do that too. A guy once told me when I got into coaching, they don't write about the planes that land. I said, those are wise words, right? Depressing words, but wise words. And I think somebody in here might have had us losing to Penn State, might have printed us losing to Penn State before we actually won that game, by the way, I believe a couple weeks ago. But the bottom line is we're gonna address the things that we got to make some constructive areas of improvement. We're going to continue to do that, but we're also going to talk about the things we did well and try to get better in those areas.
If we were going to write about that and the way you played defensively tonight, what made it so effective? I know that's a huge part of your program and every single night, but it seemed like, I don't know if the intensity was there.
Our defense?
There was a lot more energy taking charges and things like
that. Yeah, I thought we had guys have really – Dwayne gave us a lift tonight in that area. I thought we had better attention to detail in some areas and scouting that was really important. But I listen, look at our defensive numbers. We've had a lot of consistent – we're probably where we are right now because of our team defense, honestly. That has kept us in games and given us a chance this season. You look at our defensive numbers from beginning to end, and we certainly have had some moments where we've not been great. And like a team like Maryland, who's got scoring all over the place, is a real problem in terms of trying to figure out how to guard. But our defense has been pretty consistent. Tonight it was good. I do think, honestly, Northwestern, they run such good stuff. They miss some shots that I think they'll normally make. So we probably got lucky in some areas.
Speaking of positives, Kyle, there was a stretch there where he just kind of did Kyle things, couple offensive rebounds and whatnot. I know he's been back a handful of games now, but what boost has he given you guys coming off the bench and just having him do those?
He's been great. He's been great. He's not been able to practice, so his conditioning is affected. I can't play him as much as I'd like to be able to play him right now because he gets tired. You can only get so much conditioning on the bike. He didn't practice yesterday, and I understand why. He would probably be inserted in our starting lineup. That would probably be the guy. We would slide Dre like we started the season, but he can't do it right now with his leg.
Do you think, with what you just said about when guys are invested on the bench, it might lead to playing time? Do you think you're going to have a bunch of guys invested on the bench next game out?
Well, I'm not. It's not an indictment on anybody else. I didn't intend it like that. Hear me say that. I just think that I just noticed him in the first half, and I noticed him in practice yesterday, and that was really just a specific example of me noticing Justin and saying, hey, let's see if he's ready to go. And it was a double take when I told him he was going in. He kind of looked at me like, I think he said now, and I said, yeah, to start the half. So it was good to see him respond and give us a little bit of life.
And I'm trying to phrase this the right way because you guys have a million things right in front of you this season, obviously. Mm-hmm. But obviously you have a young team also.
Yeah.
And there's a big picture here also.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking for, sort of what you said about Justin with all these guys, about, we had some bumps here, but you're going to be at Ohio State for a long time.
Yeah.
This season's really important, but so are the seasons ahead. What are you sort of looking for in guys being invested because there's something after this? You want to win every game you play the rest of this year. But then there's something next year, and maybe all the little things you do now during a rough patch here or there, well, that's going to pay off some point. What are you looking for from guys, especially the guys? So many of them are going to be back for the next year or two or three.
Guys that understand that and do have a perspective that's important. Now, I think as a coach, like you're saying, you have to give that to them. You know, like last week when I met with most of our guys individually, I had those conversations about, hey, right now it feels like you're screwing up in every drill and every practice. And if you allow that to defeat you and prevent you from having a good practice, then you're not understanding what it takes to be a good player when you're a sophomore or a junior. I'm coaching you. We're coaching you because we really believe in what you can be right now. And you are screwing up a lot. That's fine. We all screw up. So it's a lot of those conversations. I've not collectively talked with our group about anything beyond this group, this team right now. But those conversations have come up individually.
CJ, coming off the ankle injury, kind of dealing with that, and then obviously the shoulder. How is he coming out of that, and what did you see from him tonight dealing with a couple of things physically?
Well, I thought he gave us good life. He's got to play smarter with his fouls. You know, he's got to play smarter with his fouls. You know, I think he competes. Man, that kid competes. I love that about him. But he's got to play smarter with his fouls.
As far as playing smarter, there were a couple of times Keyshawn, like he turned the ball over and he was the first guy on the floor to get after it. From just like a hustle standpoint, I know maybe his production hasn't been where it was expected at times, but where is he from just being dialed in and being?
Yeah, I've been pleased with Keyshawn. Like anybody, he's had some ups and downs, but I've been really pleased with Keyshawn for the bulk of the season. He's in a great league at a high level league. This is the best league in the country, top to bottom. But I thought he really led tonight. He brought a little bit of an edge to us tonight. That I appreciated.
You were talking about defense. You brought up Dwayne, and then defense is exactly what you want him to work on earlier this season.
Yeah. All throughout season, yeah.
That too. Where is he in his development, especially on that side of the ball?
I think it comes and goes. You know, he got exposed the other day in the second half guarding some guys at Michigan State on screening actions. And we told him, hey, listen, this could happen again. You got to be better in this area. We watch film with him. Dwayne was really good for us tonight, really good. And when you think about the games that we've won here of late, like he's come in and given us really quality minutes at Indiana, home versus Penn State. We do not win versus Penn State without Dwayne making some critical threes. So we just got to keep getting him better. He's got to keep having the right approach. I thought he was really good, and defensively he was really solid. But, you know, let's see how it is tomorrow in practice.
I think I asked you something similar to this a couple weeks ago, but is that fifth spot kind of open season? I know you're putting Justin out there today, and Kyle would probably be the starter if he was completely healthy. So is it open season for that fifth spot, depending on the matchup?
You could say that for sure. Yeah, you could say that. I'm kind of searching, and Key would rather come off the bench, Keyshawn. So that kind of, I'm not going to put him back in. He would. I think he likes seeing the game for a little bit. So yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it.
Is that, I guess, a pro or a con that in February it's still kind of that way, where you're still looking for that fifth guy?
I'm sure most coaches would probably like to have that solidified. You know, I think because of our injuries, particularly to Kyle and in some areas, and our youth, I still think our rotation in general is a little bit fluid, more fluid than any team I've coached probably this time of year. But that's fine. We'll manage it. Okay. Thank you.